Hey guys, it's your boy Deepo. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing well. And today we are back with some more Arena Breakout Infinite content. In particular, I want to discuss the current state of the game and why most of the fan favorite weapons are no longer viable in this game. As you know, ammo has been nerfed twice now. Range has been nerfed as well. And in an attempt to make the meta wider, instead they've narrowed it down even more. Now, what do I mean by this? Now you only have a handful of gun out of the whole roster that are actually viable, where you can actually be competitive and kill somebody and walk out with some loot. Now, there is the argument, well, how viable is it if the ammo is so expensive? But that's an argument for another day. This video is purely dedicated on the guns that are no longer competitive. You can run these guns, nothing will stop you from running these guns, and you may get the occasional kill or not, but if the circumstances were even and both players picked each other at the wrong time, 9 out of 10 times you will lose the fight because you're losing one of these guns. Like, these are not guns that I would no longer recommend using, even though some of these are my favorite, even though some of these have, you know, brought a lot of viewers to my channel because they were really good builds. They were really good builds, but now they're absolutely horrible and I would not touch them and I would not use them because the meta now has so narrowed down. You either run a high RPM weapon or you run a weapon that runs a red ammo, and that is the only way to stay competitive in this game. You go to Forbidden, you see nakeds running M110s with red ammo or SVDSs, right? Or you see people running HKs or F2000s or just stuff that has really high firing power, high RPM. Low firepower weapons, no longer viable. I used an SA-58. I shot a guy. So SA-58 is one of these. With AP rounds, like the highest tier ammo you can get. I shot a guy in the face, 10 meters distance. I didn't kill him. He was only wearing a headset. So, the balance of the game at the moment is completely off, right? A lot of my Discord now has gone quiet because people are just fed up. They no longer want to play. So, how are you going to bring balance to this game? I think just revert back to the way it was originally, right? Like, they tried to prevent rats. Rats are still ratting worse than ever, if you ask me, right? So, oh, but red ammo is the problem. Red ammo is not the problem, right? Instead of, like, trying to nerf red ammo, buff gold ammo. So the TTK is similar, right? So when you get close up to these people that are running red ammo, just make it so you melt them straight away instead of them taking 40 rounds of 855 A1 to tier 6 armor before they actually drop, right? So there is other ways to balance it out. Like Tarkov has a very good balance. Very good balance. Mock it for what it is. They've had 8 hours to balance the armor and the rounds, and they've done a good job. And Arena has taken all the good aspects from Tarkov, minus few, right? So that's what I would start, but anyways, that's just my humble opinion. Now, back to the video. Guns that are no longer viable, I'll start with a fan favorite, AK-74N. You can still build one of these fairly cheaply. You can, it's an okay gun, but medium firing power really hurts you. Also, the fact that hurts you is the range, garbage range, medium firing power, 600 RPM. It just does not cut it anymore, guys. It just does not cut it. This build right here has made me millions in the past. It makes me really sad that, like, you run this on normal farm, you get killed by a guy with like a M4 S2000, even an MP5. They will outgun you 9 out of 10 times because it's just the damage output is no longer there. And it's shame because this was a really good weapon. It was right in the middle of the pack. It was affordable. It was reliable. You know, if you want to put a scope on it, you could put a scope on it and still be able to be competitive at distance. This is no longer the case, unfortunately. And this one really bit the dust. People still run it, but you can ask anyone you want. Recoil is uncontrollable. Like, it goes left to right, up and down. You don't want that in a gun, right? Like, horizontal recoil matters now more than ever. Even after the recoil buff, this weapon, fortunately, in my opinion, is still doo-doo. Next one, and this pains me more than anything else because this is one of my favorite builds of all time, is the M16. This used to be a very viable build. No matter like what you run, like this, at range, up close, you were able to fire this very rapidly. This weapon used to delete. Now you cannot keep up with the F2000s and the HKs anymore, not even the M4s. Because now that they buffed the armor, nerfed the ammunition, single fire weapons that do not fire red ammunition are no-go. Absolutely no-go. Even the ones that do fire rate ammunition, like the M14, which we'll get in a second, even that is no longer viable because now it takes more than usual. So second on the list, this was my favorite, and this is something I'm really bummed about, is the M16. This weapon is no longer viable. Do not run it. You're only putting yourself at a disadvantage. I never ever thought I'd be sitting here telling you this. Don't do it, guys. This weapon. Maybe next season, once they limit the entry for normal, you know. I've heard they're gonna limit it. I haven't really touched much of the playtest, so I cannot attest to that. But apparently there will be a limit on how much gear value you can bring into normals. Maybe then it may be somewhat viable, but even then, if you come across an M4, they will melt you. Even an MDR, they will melt you before you even get the chance. So, unfortunately, this is another gun that bit the dust. BM59 was a rat weapon, always was. Stay away from it. Medium firing power. This no longer one-taps helmets. There's no reason for you to run it. Same with the M14. M14 will one-tap everything up until tier 5. Tier 6, you got no chance. It'll take 2 M61s to the helmet. This used to be a fan favorite build as well. Like you could run it with like scopes, red dots, and used to one tap to the head with the red ammo. That is no longer the case. And because the recoil is so, even though it says high firing power, it doesn't want that. And now because the recoil is so bloody high on this thing, there's no reason for you to run it. There is the M110. The M110 is not that much dearer, but the M110 will absolutely clap cheeks. This wouldn't. So stay away from those two carbines. BM, M14, no longer viable. And I'm telling you, these two were fan favorite builds as well. A lot of people used to run them. And it's just the utility, the versatility is not there anymore. Stay away from them. You'll be doing yourself a disservice. I have tons of bundles of this one. I've been testing it out. I just cannot find an upside to using this weapon. It's just garbage. Garbage. Sorry guys, this was never gonna be a positive video. I'm just here to spit some truth and call it for what it is, right? Aberdeen per red ammo is ruining the game. It's not the red ammo, it's the balance of the game that makes the red ammo where it is. If they were to bring the game back to the way it was from when the game first released, and you could melt any armor with like T3, T4 ammo, then empty, you know, red ammo wouldn't feel so overpowered. All they had to do was nerf the FAL, nerf the Mosin. Yet here we are where we are. Alright, next one, Mini 14, another fan favorite. 400 RPM means this weapon is now garbage. You can pull back and snipe, but decreased range on it means you cannot use it as a sniper rifle anymore. It used to be over 100 range, now you're looking at 84. Yes, you can get the recoil low. Yes, it doesn't take much to build this. It's very cheap. But yes, it's absolute garbage now, so don't fucking touch it. Stay away from it. You're doing yourself a massive, massive disservice, right? Submachine guns, stay away from the MAC-10s. Stay away from like the Uzis. At the bare minimum, use an MP5 because of the high firing power. Once again, high firing power is a damage multiplier. Shot a guy in the face with the best ammo in the game for that particular tier. I did not kill him because I was using a low firing power weapon. Stick to high firing power, high RPM. That is the way to go. Uzi, unfortunately, and MAC-10, another fan favorite. Just don't do it, man. Don't do it. You have your vectors now. Run those. If you want to go super cheap, run the MP5. If you want to spend a bit more money, go for the MPX. But don't bother with these ones. You're only putting yourself at a disadvantage. You get frustrated. You get cheeks clapped. It's not worth it. That about concludes my video for today. Unfortunately, a lot of shit that people used to use that were able to compete on a budget is no longer there. The ability to compete on a budget, I don't believe is there anymore. Now your budget looks like an M110 with red ammo, and that's what everyone runs. That's the current meta. It's just the way it is. Love it or hate it, let's raise some awareness. Let's see if we can get this fixed. But for now, it is what it is. I think it's only been like 10 days since the update came out. And I can see a massive, massive decline, at least on my Discord anyway. My community, guys, it's about 2.3k. I like to think that 2.3k people, it's a good sample to sort of gauge. You know, it's a good sample of populace that would play the game. And if they drop off, I think it paints a picture for the majority of it, right? Anyways, thank you for watching. I do appreciate your time. I hope to catch you next video. Peace.